Dear speakers, friends and guests, welcome to Angels Week in United Kingdom. I am Hakan Candener, Country Chair of United Kingdom for Angels Week. It is with great pleasure to welcome you all to this event, focused on global collaboration with higher education to increase financial inclusion here in United Kingdom. We are united in our commitment to address the pressing issue of financial exclusion and harness the power of education to drive positive change to transform our lives, communities and economies around the world. I would like to express heartfelt thank you to all our speakers, to our Global Chair of Angels Week, Baybars, and to you for joining us in this forum. Your commitment and dedication to cause of financial inclusion are truly inspiring. I also extend my appreciation to the universities, higher education, government and the financial institutions, and in the United Kingdom for their support and collaboration. In the next 2 hours, you are in a good company. We are very honored to have change makers in UK as keynote speakers and roundtable panelists who are active leaders in fintech, education, startup, banking, and innovation. Together, we can shape a more inclusive and educable future for all. I wish you all an inspiring event. Thank you.
Dear presidents, dear ministers, dear country chairs, and dear participants. Business education and entrepreneurship education have come a long way in the past 2 decades. The mindset of students of entrepreneurship has changed as well and will continue to evolve. More and more business organizations are adopting an entrepreneurial spirit. Even conservative businesses are making it a priority to boost their entrepreneurial energies and promote a culture of creativity and innovation. Most innovative business ideas come from young people. Current and future entrepreneurs and investors need specialized knowledge and a highly complex set of skills to move innovative ideas into the market and ensure they succeed. All this suggests that it is time for higher education institutions to take on a new role. They need to revisit their current business curricula and expand their offerings beyond the traditional concept of business education into a wider framework that bundles education, incubation, mentoring, technology transfer, and research and development. With this in mind, the stakeholders of the World Business Angel Investors Week have agreed on the theme for this year's week, which will now take place until 25th of June as global collaboration with higher education to increase financial inclusion. The week aims to contribute to the development of skills and expertise of students and faculty members alike, assist in the digital transformation of higher education institutions, and foster the kind of creative thinking that leads to innovation and eventual success in the ever-changing market environment of the 21st century. During this special week, all stakeholders and participants in the week's events will pause to reflect on their fast-paced journey to analyze why business transformation is needed and how transformation will support entrepreneurship and innovation that will boost economies, and to reiterate how entrepreneurial ecosystems can create more jobs, more wealth, and for more social justice in cooperation with key players in early-stage equity markets in the post-pandemic economy. World Business Angel Investors Week 2023 will feature roundtables that will provide a platform for entrepreneurs, angel investors, and academicians to explore the processes startups will go through in post-pandemic times. The week will also include discussions on the ongoing challenges entrepreneurs ventures phase in integrating the basic knowledge of strategic planning and will consider creative ways to overcome the challenges. I would like to thank in advance all the stakeholders and partners who will be contributing to the World Business Angel Investors Week 2023. They will be highlighting the importance of higher education to increase financial inclusion, the theme of this year's event. I believe to grow and thrive in a post-pandemic world, swift business transformation into a pandemic-proof organizational model is vital if we are to ensure the sustainability of world economies in the new normal. I would like to thank the organizing committee and the colleagues who will be taking roles as country chairs, global partners, keynote speakers, and panel discussion members. Their combined efforts will create value for the world startup economies, not only during this week, but in the future as well. They will focus on harnessing the collective knowledge of the world's most influential women leaders, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and artists with a view to addressing critical issues of early-stage equity markets in the new normal. The week will also be a great platform from which to campaign for solutions to such critical issues and other worldwide concerns at the United Nations, the European, and in G20 countries. The ultimate goal of all of the week's keynotes, discussions, presentations, and workshops is to agree on a common roadmap for entrepreneurs, startups, and SMEs that will enable them to emerge from this pandemic period even stronger than they were before. We encourage all faculty members of higher education, angel investors, entrepreneurs, and policymakers to explore the merits of the World Business Angel Investors Week and take full advantage of its many benefits. I am confident that each participant in World Business Angel Investors Week will benefit from the collaborative ideas, know-how exchange, training programs, and workshops, and global networking opportunities that are offered. I believe that by working together across borders with a common vision and smart dynamics in mind, we are well placed to bring about positive change in global economy. I also want to invite all of you to join the World Congress of Angel Investors 2023, which will be in Durban of South Africa next November. I'm wishing you great success in your future endeavors, and thank you very much for listening to me. All the best.
Business Luminaires, I'm delighted to welcome you to the World Business Angel Investors Week 2023 in the United Kingdom. We're gathered here today to deliberate, share ideas, and hopefully spur the change we wish to see in the world about the global collaboration with higher education to increase financial inclusion. It's a mission that requires our concerned efforts, understanding, and commitment to making the world a better place. I stand before you not as a stranger, but as a fellow traveler on this journey, dedicated to leveraging the power of technology and education to the greater good of society. I'm Professor Christian Farioli, and since 2003, I've been entrenched in the evolving landscape of digital marketing and fintech, actively exploring its power and potential to transform businesses and lives. I wear multiple hats in this vibrant industry. I have the privilege of being a digital and fintech lecturer for renowned organizations such as the Digital Marketing Institute, Informa, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. In this role, I have had the opportunity to interact, guide, and learn from an array of bright minds. And it is through these experiences that I've gained a deep understanding of the dynamic nature of our digital world and its integral role in shaping our future. Over the years, I have shared my insights and expertise at more than 120 international conferences, from the technological hub of Google to the pioneering institution of NASA, and I've conversed with a diverse audience. So in this exchange of ideas and experiences that I find the greatest satisfaction for every conversation that leads to growth and every question also sparks innovation. I've had the honor of training and advising more than 15,000 executives across 4 continents, and I've been fortunate enough to work with the leading brands such as Armani, Bayer, Jumeirah, Burj Al Arab, Etisalat, Huawei, ADNOC, and Ferrari. The diversity of these experiences enabled me to understand the varied needs of different markets and the unique solutions that digital fintech can provide. However, all these accomplishments would mean nothing if they did not serve a great purpose. Today, we are here to harness the power of digital technology, higher education, and global collaboration to increase financial inclusion. It's a bold mission and one that resonates deeply with my professional and personal journey. The landscape of digital has shown us that the world can be connected and how opportunities can be created. In the same vein, we must strive to ensure that no one is left behind in the journey towards financial inclusion. Together, we can forge a new path built on the pillars of education, collaboration, and inclusivity. I'm excited to embark on this journey with all of you in its collaboration of diverse minds and hearts that through innovation and change arise. Thank you again, and let's make the World Business Angel Investors Week 2003 in UK a milestone in our shared journey towards a more inclusive future. The panel of today, it's about the following topic. Are fintech companies delivering on the social impact promises? Let's see a fresh look at financial inclusion, financial literacy, financial health, and sustainability standards. And I have here with me an amazing panel. Starting introducing them from Yvonne Deville. Yvonne is the Chair of Finance and FinTech Group with the Institute of Directors. Yvonne has over 20 years of experience in supporting and managing international programs and business changes, transformations within Credit Suisse, Unilever, Ecaterra, HSBC, Lloyds Banking Group, Barclays, Travelex, Clifford Chance, BP, Schroders, and PwC. And she's also an author of Cracking the Change Management Code book. Then we have here another amazing panelist, Andrew Samu. He's the editor at Disruption Banking, where he writes stories about capital markets, DeFi, at Disruption Banking, where the content covers stories from banking technology to fintech disruptors, including ESG, DeFi, algo trading, HFT, regulation, and many others. And he's also specialist on US markets in his role. Then we have another amazing panelist, Kai Liang. Kai is currently the Director of Business Development of Mel Science, which is the world-leading innovative science education content company, with awards-winning VR and AR contents, as well as a full range of science learning kits and thousands of original videos. While Mel Science is focusing on B2C delivery, Kai and Daniel Sullivan co-founded as well Mel Scholar to reinvent primary school science curriculum from scratch. Kai also co-founded a new VR and edtech companies, including Smart Stone Technologies, based in Sydney, which has won a large number of projects in many countries in the areas of VR and AR-assisted education. Another company Kai co-founded, it's called xspaces.io, and has already completed the seed investment round and is quickly becoming a leading global metaverse platform and ecosystem solution. And then we have here in the panel, Dr. Riza Kadilar. He's a PhD in economics, BSc degree at METU in industrial engineering, MSc degree at Stanford University, MBA at Tech Paris, and also executive management course on banking at INSEAD, and leadership in digital age at Columbia Business School and INSEAD. His professional career includes a senior level bank management experience in the UK, the Netherlands, France, and Turkey. And he has been the senior country manager and representative for Turkey at Natixis since 2006. Previously served as deputy CEO at a merchant bank in London, management board member of a trade finance bank in Amsterdam, and also the head of corporate banking and financial institutions and Turkish bank in Istanbul. Also as a voluntary position, he is the global president of European Mentoring and Coaching Council, also the chairman of China Institute Turkey, scientific committee member at Institute Bosphore Paris, president of TUSIAD Netherlands Task Force, and a trustee and board member at Hisar Education Foundation in Istanbul. He's also the author of 5 published books and regularly writes at Bloomberg Business Week Turkey. So, welcome to all of the panelists. Now, again, the theme of the current discussion, it's about the global collaboration with higher education to increase financial inclusion. and I will open the discussion about the following topic. Are fintech companies delivering on their social impact promises? Let's have a fresh look at financial inclusion, financial literacy, and financial health and sustainability standards. The first question for today is going to be for Andrew. And the question is the following. In what ways are fintech companies collaborating with higher education institutions to further financial inclusion? And as well, are you able to share any successful example of such a partnership? The word up to you, Andrew.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Christian. Really good to meet you all. There isn't an awful lot that we can share. However, institutions such as MIT, Oxford University, Stanford to some extent as well, are some of the pioneers and the leaders when it comes to collaborations between education and business at the moment. We are seeing an awful lot of professionals coming into the job market in the fintech market, having education from these higher education institutions, which often also offer researching facilities. I have an example of one of my team that is currently at London School of Economics, where they are also focusing on these types of topics at the moment. The challenge that we're having is that business is not always aware of the fact that they can collaborate with these institutions. With the MIT situation, I think everybody is very familiar with MIT. It is a very interesting brand. During COVID, they offered a lot of their courses for free, which grew engagement amongst people. At this stage, we feel that in our editorial team that the collaboration will improve in the future, just like we've seen campuses grow in universities across the world with science centers and what have you. But today, the fintech centers within universities are still a little bit at a beginning stage from our readership perspective. I hope that helps, Christian. You're on mute.
All right, so they kept me muted. All right, thank you so much, Andrew, for the question, for the answer. All right, now a question for Yvonne. To what extent do you believe that fintech companies are delivering on their social impact promises, particularly in the realm of financial inclusion?
First of all, thank you very much for having me here. It's really great to be part of those panel discussion and be surrounded by such experts. So once again, thank you for having me. I think we have to start with just stating that at the moment, we still have a very large population, approximately 1.7 billion people in the world that do not have access to banks and financial products. And this statistic is based on a Fintech report from November 2022. Why is that? I think mostly because traditional banks and the financial institutions, insurance institutions have very old legacy systems, which makes them less agile. They also have a very strict appetite for risks. They have a higher interest rates, and they are more strict about regulation in terms for accessing their financial products. So that gives opportunities for the fintech company with the new way of thinking and the agility and a way for them to change how people access banking. And with the new imaginative ways, they provide us a way to access financial products. I just want to highlight that only just recently in UK, it was November 12th, that the Lord Mayor has held a big summit to help with the agenda about financial inclusion and literacy, and has invited the representatives from all the larger banks in UK to participate in that mission to help educate people in financial literacy. So not only access the financial products, but also make sure that everyone has sort of basic understanding how finances work and how they, how interest work, where rates works, so they can make better decisions about their financial health. So in terms of sort of example of companies or fintechs that help with the financial inclusion. So in the UK, we have Fair for All Finance, which actually works with government and helps with providing access to financial products for those sort of undeserved in UK. For instance, there's a money box that runs up a sort of savings and little spare change to invest it in sort of different savings and investment options. I think it's important also to say that the COVID-19, as much as devastating it has created a digital revolution and enabled the mobile applications expansion. And so the answer to financial inclusion actually very much has been within the mobile application. And we see that very clearly in the rural areas in continents such as Africa, Asia, South America. And it's the smartphones that actually create and help with the revolution. And so, for instance, in Africa, the sort of phone market is about 6.6% the global smartphone sales globally, and it is one of the sort of fastest growing markets in the world. So therefore, it allows fintechs to access this population and allow them access then through those applications to financial systems. And for instance, M-Pesa in Kenya has enabled millions of Kenyans to participate in the financial inclusion. We have a Tela, which is a global application that enables people with no history credit to obtain loans as little as $10. Because for those people in those countries, at $10, it's a lot of money, and then enables them to live day to day. We have, for instance, Acrons in US that also focuses on micro investing. We have Jumbo in Africa and Asia that is a sort of lending market as well. But let's not forget also that the fintechs have actually helped a lot of women rise from poverty and through usage of the sort of digital platforms. And one example of company that is sort of focusing on helping women and small businesses find it funding for women is C-Node. And C-Node is actually woman-led investment platform, and they focusing helping women for women. So from my perspective, being a woman, I think I can see how important it is and how it gives a lot of women the power to to have a voice in their own finances. So I think from my perspective, I think that definitely fintechs help with the financial inclusion, and the journey is ongoing, and we will see more coming as the technology develops. Hope that helps.
All right, that's a wonderful answer, Yvonne. Thank you so much. I would like also to ask the same question to Andrew. So to what extent do you believe that fintech companies are delivering on their social impact promises, particularly in the realm of financial inclusion?
It's a very big question. I don't want to repeat what Yvonne's already said because Yvonne has covered it very nicely. I mean, from Kenya, I think it was a very good example. I've also been watching the Mwale Medical and Technology City, which if people aren't familiar with that, it's something you should definitely look at. They've had a stable coin underpinning their facility for over the last 4 years. They're one of the pioneers here, bringing that kind of attitude to the African continent. I think World Remit and their CEO is another really good example of a company that is working towards helping people feel the benefits of financial inclusion. But we're also seeing companies, Stripe this morning was also offering more services. Wise, we're seeing them at the moment. It's phenomenal. Wise are offering an all-weather ETF as part of your current account, which offered 16% returns last year, which is very low risk and very sensible for people who aren't included. They also offer 26 different countries worth of bank accounts. So these solutions are new. We haven't seen these solutions before. It's becoming easier for people to open bank accounts, just like Yvonne said. And I think that was the premise that we needed to see. However, I am involved in digital assets, and Cardano, as a blockchain layer 1, which a lot of people will be familiar with, is possibly the most financially inclusive blockchain company that we have seen over the last few years. Some of the projects that they're involved in, also in Africa, but also in other countries, are really forward thinking. So there is hope. Companies are addressing this issue, and every day we are seeing more solutions to help people have lower fees, transparent fees, and the ability to understand their financial products.
That's amazing, Andrew. Thank you for what you had to add to what Yvonne already said. I also have another question for Yvonne. So in terms of sustainability standards, how are fintech companies aligning their business models with environmental, social, and governance, also called ESG criteria?
Okay, so I think first of all, ESG is all about making the difference to our world, and in the last few years, it has become the key dimension in business considerations. And I think the most important is the climate change, and addressing the damage that to the environment done by us, by humans. And this is the most talked about and the most researched topic that is actually being promoted by United Nations. So there is no surprise that actually the climate tech is one of the fastest growing sub-sector emerging within the fintech. And only last year, the ESG fintech grew by 46%. So this is a new record high. And I think in US, it was like sort of 28% share of the whole sort of deal market. And just give an example of the sort of areas that the sort of fintech companies are doing in this area is, for instance, working on sustainable investing platforms. So company like Waterfront that is allowing users to align the investment with any sustainable goals. We have a green financing. So for instance, companies such as Lend Invest that recently, well, actually, I think it was last year, they launched a green bond framework. We have also a lot of fintechs that deal with impact measurement and reporting. So for instance, BriefPoint is a company that is trying to positively impact behavioral change. They're allowing the members to trade the rewards and then allow them to use this for purchase services from green suppliers. They reward the members for verification of carbon emission to reduction. And so the more reduction you make, the more brief points you earn. What else? So that's also connected to carbon offsetting. So for instance, Stripe has committed to becoming carbon neutral by purchasing carbon offset and investing in green point projects. We have also a lot of data analytics, for instance, Datamaran that allows sort of using sort of the artificial intelligence and then has a sort of data-driven platform, so you can sort of verify the different opportunities. So there's a lot of that it's happening in this area, and I think how impactful they are, it remains to be sort of proven and seen. But I think we really have a step in the right direction. So from my point of view, I am very optimistic and hopeful, and I think fintechs will show us the way to a better future and hopefully save our planet.
That's amazing, Yvonne, how much companies are doing in that respect. That's great. All right, now I have a question for Dr. Riza, since he's an academic and as well an esteemed business professional. I would like to ask him, in terms of sustainability standards, how are fintech companies aligning their business models with environmental, social, and governance criteria. And also, I would like to ask him also if there are any specific collaborations with academia in this regard.
Hi, Christian. It's we live in an age of lots of exciting paradoxes and conflicts, and extremes are coming together. I will just comment on my colleagues' previous comments. On one hand, for example, we have the FATF, the Financial Action Task Force. In order to prevent the terrorism financing and everything, they make life so difficult for people to open a bank account. And at the same time, we technology brings so amazing times. And ESG the same. On one hand, we are all aware that we can't sustain. When we talk about sustain, we all want to sustain our way of life. We know it's not going to be sustainable at the end. So taking action in order to change, but at the same time, knowing that we have to adapt. Mitigation is a big, question mark. We are going through times of a bit walking in a bit dark, but there are, I believe, excellent examples of collaboration between academia and the fintech, especially, or technology, or financial institutions all over the world. There are lots of research programs, for example, we see. There are lots of advisory committees, advisory board. Data is so critical, and there are so many projects on data collaboration, incubators, accelerators, and also the works and conferences and everything. Some specific example, for example, first from Europe, the BlackRock, the financial conglomerate, let's say, they have a wonderful program with the Imperial College for the award program in the area of ESG, for example. Then Cambridge University has a joint program with UBS, again, another big bank, in the area to create ESG related. When it comes to fintech, Arabesque, for example, it is a technological tool. They call it S-Ray. It brings companies measurements for their ESG criteria, and they have a great collaboration with Oxford University, for example. I can give a few examples from US, for example. I think my colleague mentioned MIT. They do a great job with State Street Global, the big financial management company. Boni, Bank of New York, has a great collaboration with, for example, Carnegie Mellon University, and they also try to understand how governments can be more ESG compliant in their area. Then Harvard has a great collaboration with Bloomberg, for example. Again, they would like to create more considerate decision-making tools for climate, for policymakers to address the climate challenge. I can also give, for example, China, the Asia. Asia is not also silent. They are so actively involved in, for example, Ant Group. They have a great initiative with Tsinghua University. DBS Bank from Singapore, again, they do a great job with Nanyang Technological University. They create this platform to combine the technological advances in financial and fintech to address the ESG. You may know Grab. This is the Uber, like in Asia. They have a great program with National University of Singapore. It's not only for ESG, but even further, they would like to create this sustainable cities model by using their algorithm combined with the fintech element that they have. In Korea, we see excellent collaborations with the Korea University and Shinhan Financial Group. So the list is long. So wherever we look, academia and the new fintech, but also let's not forget about the legacy, the big guys, the financial institutions. Everybody's kind of in the same boat, in the same area to make the world a better place. Partially, yeah, we may still question whether they are greenwash, really. But when we dig deeper, we started to see really good progress in the area how academia collaborate with the financial institutions and also fintech and techfin all together coming. Thank you, Christian.
That's great, Dr. Riza. That's really a great take on the subject. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to ask Kai. Let's see if it's yes. I can see that Kai is ready. I have a question for you, Kai. I would like to understand if you could discuss specific technological innovations that have significantly enhanced the financial inclusion, and also how they were influenced or supported by academic research?
Absolutely. I was actually prepared for a different question, but certainly I can elaborate on this particular question. Just been running through the Shanghai underground to this particular point. And so I just come from a most complex country in terms of financial inclusion. Normally I'm based in London, but the question is very interesting. I'm not an expert on fintech companies, but as a serial entrepreneur in education, edtech, and education content, I can certainly share my point of view. First of all, from an education institution point of view, and then from a technology provider point of view. I think to actually discuss, to answer this question, first of all, we need to understand a little bit about context. The context is such that the world of education is currently experiencing the fastest pace of change in the history of mankind. As we know that education normally is quite kind of risk averse and very, very slow to change. But now this is going to be completely changed. And this is driven by at least 3 factors. The first factor is the fundamental change of the future labor market. As we can see that there's a lot of jobs will simply disappear within the next 3 years. And they'll be replaced by new jobs and kind of live differently. So that is one change. The second change is the technology. And as the earlier speaker has mentioned, I mean, I think it was Yvonne mentioned, I mean, we are all now totally reliant on mobile phone. And you go to university, everybody is still kind of making this transition from laptop to tablet. And but I think, Christian, when you were in university, perhaps tablet is not such a big thing. You actually have to go to the classroom with desktop computers that has various kind of like specifications. And in the future, it's going to be on AR glasses. And then later, I think this month, right, Apple is going to release the Apple VR glasses. That's going to be the most strongest impact, the change factor of this entire industry. So the device, the technology, the base cloud technology, everything is changed. And they're all here to serve education contents in a different way, connect the education community in a different way, to kind of like make the borderline between education, teaching, and also working more fuzzy. So that's the second factor. And the third factor that's going to cause all these changes, and kindly mentioned by Yvonne, is the fact that the planet will depend on, is at the point where human activity are driving the whole planet system to a breaking point, for which drastic measures like global climate policy absolutely must act together yesterday on matters like something like phosphate resources, carbon, biodiversity, and a number of critical issues. Let's not mention cancer is all around us. And there are more and more incidents of pandemic, really serious diseases. What is happening? Food technology has to change, yeah? And under this context, everything must serve the environmental imperative. Before, everything served an economic imperative. You can make money, that's everything. But now, no, you have to observe that. So all this means that, first of all, education institutions must change. I mean, they must do certification differently. They must teach differently. And they must kind of like connect the community of teachers, students differently. They need to offer NFTs to micro-learning certifications. I need to serve a market that is just like, I mean, even the job market, even the way we work changed completely. At the end of the pandemic, today, working at home is a norm, right? Only 3 or 4 years ago, working at home is kind of a luxury. Only selected individual can enjoy, because when you say work at home, people think that you're working in the beach. But now everybody work at home. I can join this conference from 7 hours different, 7 hours away. And then I could be working with other people who is several hours away. And then the whole notion of the big multinational companies, the big brands, as we are all used to, are changed altogether. Because of all these changes, first of all, the education institution must have several changes. And then the technology they all depend on And the student lecturers all kind of write their content, serve the content, are all going to change. So the changes, so let me give you some example of the changes. The changes are not including, but not limiting to the following. First of all, I mean, as soon as possible, including topics that involved with new technology and business practice in relation to the changing job market, and then get into the lecture, everything is changing, right? Secondly, looking to break down, institutions, they have to break down large degree courses into micro learning modules and make the credit more accessible and more up to date, so that it's available to all lifelong learning contexts. It's no longer feasible for us to hire people who have a degree in fintech or a degree in crypto technologies or blockchain. I mean, the reward, the sponsorship, the resource opportunity means that you got to be able to include people who are not used to be like professor of blockchain to be able to teach blockchain, because he just participated in this new technology like Slack, like Trello. I mean, these are changing. I mean, we used to work on Word and PowerPoint, but no longer. So we're going to work on altogether different office system all the time. And who can create this content? Who constructed the system? Those are the lectures that students want to listen to. And then the technology have to appeal to these people. Another third example, universities and institutions perhaps need to make as much content free as possible, or open sources, so that the course content can stay up to date. And all the experts in real job market, they can actually join in, they can contribute. Because if you're Cambridge and Oxford, I go to Cambridge, yeah, fine. Cambridge and Oxford has great brand name, but perhaps it's a games university in Aberdeen that actually included the inventor of this, for example, I'm just imaginary, inventor of Minecraft to be able to teach this lecture. Trust me, all the students would want to listen to him. They want to join a little project led by him. And therefore, you need to offer the technology. You need to develop the technology. Perhaps the technology is already on Minecraft or Roblox, so that the student can learn. And you need to issue the certificate that is more useful and carry more weight in the job market and help them to actually get projects than Oxford and Cambridge degree, right? Last example, you need to work. University
Kai, you're making me back to my student age. For all of your example, I really feel when the life was different than what it is today.
Oh, well,
I'm sorry to cut exactly. Sorry to cut you just slightly short, is because I wanna. Sure, all right, that's it. Go for it.
Point. The university need to work as a career agency rather than just advisor, so that you can bring learning and working together. As the boundaries have become fuzzy, and therefore the technology, the university perhaps need to create a subpart of LinkedIn to join. So all these technology doesn't exist before. They would come in to play a part. I think I'm done for now. And let me pass to you, Christine. I hope that's helpful. I'm sorry, a little bit long-winded.
That's fine. Good. Thank you for the answer, Kai. Now I have another question, and I would like to start asking the question to Andrew. So lastly, what step should fintech, in your opinion, and higher education institution take to strengthen their collaboration and make a greater social impact in the realm of financial inclusion?
Do you know what? I really agree with Kai here. I mean, it really, they need to do more career things. I think that's the essence of this as well. Even today, I think as a student coming out of university, the world of fintech or ESG is a great, huge unknown. But this all comes back to financial education. It all comes back to financial education. The financial education can't start early enough. A few years ago, when LinkedIn came into the market and suggested they're going to open up LinkedIn to 16-year-olds or even younger, it was a good sign, because at least they have exposure to the world of finance as well through that platform. But I think the biggest reason that we have to look at this is because there is a natural bias in everything to do with artificial intelligence today. And we need to make people understand the bias in artificial intelligence as soon as possible. Ultimately, where we are today is, if you are a single mother and you want to get credit you will struggle. And you don't know that when you're at university. You don't know that even when you finish university. And I think at the moment, A, we shouldn't have that bias in artificial intelligence. B, that bias should be discussed much, much earlier. And C, people who can resolve that bias need to be entering the job market and be educated about this from day one. And they're getting the education in their mid-20s, even early 30s, which is too late to help artificial intelligence. So that's my 2 cents here. It's about education, and it's about understanding the technologies and facing the biggest challenges, which, for instance, is the bias.
Thank you, Andrew, for the perfect answer. I would like to ask the same thing to Kai. So again, what step do you think that fintech should take and higher education institutions to strengthen their collaboration and make a greater social impact in the realm of financial inclusion?
I promise to be very, very brief this time. So
great.
So first of all, simply fintech company need to support, need to sponsor more education. Because I mean, everybody needs to join up to the fintech. You know, they need to support more people to learn more useful things in life that can deliver value, and hence actually everybody can join in to play a part in economy by and large. But in addition, I think it's very important for fintech companies to perhaps to become a portal to actually collect the more innovative teachers, the more relevant kind of like sponsors, the participants or co-creators of education content, to actually join in education in the field of practical skills. I mean, our sons and daughters are all going to work in micro entrepreneurial companies in the future, rather than big corporate like Stripes or MasterCard. I mean, trust me, there will be a lot of that, and therefore perhaps fintech company can enable that by having the different business leaders to offer some teaching and to pick up certain people, students who can actually join some real life project, so that they play a part. They can share the non-confidential part of their project to other people. Hence, you create that kind of like active learning, creating participation, and then they can then contribute to more skills in the community, and getting more banked, and getting more people to become the owner of business and actually owner of business accounts. So those are examples. And finally, I think fintech company perhaps can help the technology providers such as AR glasses provider and all online cloud service providers with some of their technology that can kind of like a cross boundary between security and accessibility of service, and also share the data. The data of all of us are very important, but then that kind of encourage people and also bring more relevant learning and services to people. So those are my 2 cents, and I hope that's briefer than the last answer.
That's wonderful, Kai. Yes, indeed. That was great. And I would like to extend the same question to Dr. Riza. So again, what steps should fintech companies and higher education institutions take to strengthen their collaboration and make a greater social impact in the realm of financial inclusion?
I don't want to repeat what my colleagues have already said. I echo what they said. I can give 2 examples. I was blessed, lucky enough to be an early stage investor in Avalanche Lab. For example, Emin is a great example, a PhD, a professor at Cornell. He came up with the idea, he made it happen, and now with their subnet concept and everything, they are doing so much great work with education work. So like it starts with academia and go back to academia. So that's great. The second example, I hope I'm not here this time, I have no idea, in Amsterdam, where I'm based. The University of Amsterdam has a science park, and within the science park, there's a startup village. And there's this company who is creating universe, who is a kind of metaverse provider. The unique thing about it, their algorithm have access to quantum computing. So it's basically all these, the chip providers, the chip designers in the Dutch ecosystem, university, and those smart kids, they are kind of working together in order to make it happen. Because everything we talk, it's no joke. These are real, amazing technological advances. The critical issue is to put the startup village in the science park. So because when we create technology, what to do with it? So in order to reach financial inclusion, there are a few more steps in commercialization and even access to capital and everything. Then it goes back again. I don't want to repeat, my colleagues have already covered the most important issue about inclusion, but I just want to take these two examples where maybe, they can be a role model, how you can get these technological shifts, advances, commercialize, bring it to people to create a more inclusive financial environment for all. Thank you.
All right, that's great, Dr. Riza. That has been an amazing session with a lot of insights from the panelists. So thank you so much, and on behalf of the World Business Angel Investors Week 2003 in UK, I would like to give a big thank you to the esteemed panelists, Yvonne Deville, Andrew Snamo, Kai Liang, and Dr. Riza Kadilar for the valuable insight on the theme of global collaboration with higher education to increase financial inclusion. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Thank you
very
Christian.
much. Thank you very much, everyone. Pleasure.
Lovely,
Thanks,
lovely
everybody.
stuff.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day, London.